you can get killed wearing Rolex in California. And they put the gun into his head and they're like, give me your watch.
Skid Row is the scariest area in Los Angeles, in downtown LA. Like you're in a movie of a zombie apocalypse.
Listen, I'm also poor.
Okay.
Like there's nothing to take from me. I heard there are gangs who operate even in the safest areas, like Thousand Oaks, right? I know that the house across the street where you live got robbed.
It's also crazy because I read the article somewhere that every 10th person in Los Angeles is a millionaire. When I walk on the street, I'm always like, okay, is that person following me? Is that person following me?
They just drove to San Francisco, tourists.
Oh my God.
So they put it in the trunk.
I hear so many stories about San Francisco. It's insane.
They left the car for 2 hours during the day in downtown San Francisco. Everything was stolen. People just walk into Gucci and stuff and they just take stuff and leave.
That was crazy.
How is that even possible in a modern world? My phone was stolen in 6 months twice from my purse on my shoulder. The guys who stole texting me, we're gonna share all your stuff, your pictures, emails with all your contacts. People are thinking that I have more interesting life and more money than I actually do.
You're listening to Just Fake It Coming to LA podcast. Now here are your hosts, Nora and Maryna.
Hey everyone, welcome to Just Fake It Coming to LA. Here I am, Nora, with my beautiful co-host, Maryna.
Hello, Nora.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I am recovering from
a long weekend.
From intense weekend. I know you had intense weekend too, and we were separate, but we felt each other on the distance. Yeah,
that's true. So, we've been out and about in LA all weekend. It rarely happens, but it happened. And, you hear so many crazy stories from people. You face so many things. And what really bothered me today in the morning is that I received a call yesterday from my friend who told me that he got robbed on gas station in LA, in California overall, let's say, right? I'm not going to point where exactly. So he was just pumping gas and he was driving a fancy car and he was wearing this $100K watch, which is whatever, Daytona.
Yes.
And he just got it, a week ago or something. And then there's a black car pulled up. Few guys with guns and their masks on that they just put the gun into his head.
Oh, they had masks on and guns?
Yes. And then they put the gun into his head and they're like, give me your watch, And obviously he gave the watch.
Did they just take the watch?
They just took the watch. They tried to see what else in the car. But then they just took the watch because, obviously,
I think they might have tracked him or something because it's expensive watch.
I think when it comes to delivery of those watches, it's not that. I think because people see, you're driving in the car and then you go to an event, wedding, birthday, whatever, you are wearing this watch, plus you're driving a fancy car.
No, yeah, but do you think they were just hanging out by the gas station with masks?
No, they followed.
They followed him, right? So they probably knew that he has that watch.
They probably saw him wearing it. I don't think they knew that originally he had that. But well, all I'm trying to say here is I don't know what's the origin of it, is that my intake on this is that you can get killed wearing Rolex in California. Literally.
Wow.
You can get killed wearing anything expensive on your wrist because this whole wave of crime started, after 2020.
Yeah.
The COVID years, and then there was the whole defund the police and all of those things. And I could tell you that in the recent couple of years, bunch of my friends moved out of LA. Somebody moved to Europe. Somebody moved somewhere else. They left their houses. They left their, everything because they told us listen, our children are going here. And the crime rates in LA is just raising so much.
That's crazy. Because also if you think the people who never been to Los Angeles, right? When you imagine Los Angeles, you probably imagine Beverly Hills, right?
Safest place in the world. That's what you think.
This is what you imagine what LA looks like, but in reality it is a Skid Row. And who doesn't know, Skid Row is the scariest area in Los Angeles, in downtown LA. It's where all the homeless people live and all the crazy people live. And it's just when you get in there, well, I do not recommend anybody to get in there. I know you lived there for some time next to it. I
had a white tent on the right side of the road.
I had my workplace next to it, and I would drive sometimes there, and it is the scariest because you almost like you're in a movie of a zombie apocalypse when you drive that street, and it's just like this crazy people walking around. It was like looking crazy. I don't know. It's very scary. But anyway,
the thing is,
yes,
what I think, I lived in downtown for a long time. And I remember I was walking and passing by Skid Rows every other day, you know, to buy flowers, to do, yes, because I also used to work nearby, like the office was there. I felt safer there than going and wearing an expensive watch somewhere in the restaurant in Beverly Hills.
Really?
You know, yes, because people don't target you on Skid Row. People target you in expensive areas.
Okay.
Yeah, people know that people with that kind of watch will not walk. You know, in Skid Row, because I would never wear anything expensive there. I would also never wear headphones. Don't wear headphones because you never know if you're being followed. So you just got to be always alert. And I learned how to navigate. Never wear anything expensive there. Never wear headphones. Walk very confidently, because if you are scared, it's like people will see that.
Okay.
And then, trust me, every single day I walked, everybody came up to me, you know, every other homeless, they're like, you know, do you spare some cash? Do you have some cash? Do you, you know, they ask you, and that's okay. All you, that's what I learned. I'm sorry. I'm just like in my sweatpants walking,
absolutely.
you know, like they're like, yeah, girl, what's up? Do you have, you know, some cash on you? I'm like, bro, no, sorry, bro. Like I'm literally like this. I'm like, oh, bro, sorry, no, like no cash, bro. Like next time, bro, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just established that conversation where like, listen, I'm also poor. Like there's nothing to take from me.
Okay.
So I think based on that experience, because I spent years in the hood, I kind of understand. And now I have this understanding that I do not flash anything expensive out there. Like I just don't. And even when you go to Europe, for example, when I travel to Europe, I always tell my people too, like, you got to put everything in a safe, because in Europe, especially in Paris, gosh, even hotels get robbed.
Of course.
Yeah.
Especially when you're tourist, it's easily to see that you're a tourist, and you probably have like a lot of cash on you, right? You have,
and
like,
you have expensive stuff. You know,
not
jewelry
necessarily even expensive, right? But you have something.
But in LA, because there is a concentration of people who have, you know, things which are expensive, people get robbed. And nowadays, I heard there are gangs who operate even in the safest areas, like Thousand Oaks, right? I know that the house across the street where you live got robbed.
Yeah, it did. I wasn't there, so I wasn't witnessing it, but
and in Encino, there's like a gang which operates and then just like goes across the border. All I'm trying to say is that California is becoming rapidly just very dangerous place to live.
No, but listen, it's also crazy because I read the article somewhere that every 10th person in Los Angeles is a millionaire. So imagine the amount of rich people here and the amount of poor people here who rob these rich people, right?
Yep.
But like, it is crazy if you think about it.
I also had a friend, it's crazy because like, I hear this from people I know, I hang out with, you know, and it's interesting that before it was like, okay, you hear something in the news, you think, no, that's not next to me, that's not happening. Another friend of mine, another person literally broke into his house.
Yes.
And he has the gun, my friend, right? And he tried to like point, like saying, hey, get out. The guy tried to fight him, the robber, took his gun, kicked him in the head with the gun, and escaped. And my friend, I don't know why he did that. He ran after him.
Oh my God.
And then the robber was like, I'm going to shoot you if you go after me. I was like, whoa, he took his gun too. And, you know, the thing is, even if you have a gun and you live in, you know, Hollywood Hills, you know, and you have a nice house, people still break in. And they don't care if you have a gun or not. But most of the times the robbers have the gun. Yeah. And in this case, it's better to give away the watch, because have you heard the news? The athlete, he got shot.
Oh, in San Francisco, yeah, I've read that.
He got shot in the chest because he was fighting for his watch.
Yes, it's always so crazy. Like, I'm always freaking out about that, and I'm always like super attentive. Maybe a little too much. I'm freaking out. Like, for example, recently, I don't know if it means something or not, but basically an area where we live, and we have a post box, right? Like all the houses. And what I noticed at some point, a zip tie appeared on our post box, right? And it's like nothing, like, you know, like it's just a zip tie, but where did it come from? Like, what does it mean? And I was like freaking out, and I was telling everybody in the house about it, but everybody was like, man, like, whatever, what zip tie? Like, what are you talking about? So I went and I cut it down. Because, I'm freaking out about
It's like
this
you were targeted to something.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't mean anything, but I just went, I cut it down. I went to see if anybody else had them. Nobody else had them. And like, I don't know what it means, but I'm always super attentive to these things and a little bit crazy. Also, like when I walk on the street, I'm always like, okay, is that person following me? Is that person following me? Like, I'm trying to, stay, super alert. Again, most of the times I have expensive equipment with me, like cameras, lenses, all this stuff. Scary because, again, when I was working in downtown and we were filming, and I remember there were like 5 of us, right? And we were carrying like this huge, like a cart with all the equipment and stuff. And I see people, like this homeless people or somebody just like starts following us. And I'm like, I'm starting to freak out. Like, what do we do? How do we run?
First of all, I would suggest everybody, when you have something expensive, you got to insure it. You have to.
Oh yeah.
Because without the insurance and then you lose it, it just became such a normal thing in Los Angeles and San Francisco to be robbed.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, literally, you drive. If I drive in San Francisco,
bad.
I park. I put my windows down so it wouldn't get broken. Because people just break your window and even steal like the cable chargers from my phone, whatever.
That's crazy.
But that's like everybody knows.
Yes.
And the fact that one of the richest states in America, one of the biggest economies in the world, have a problem where in San Francisco, you would think Silicon Valley, all those companies.
The most expensive place.
Yes, the crime levels are so insane that there is a law or something. If you're stealing something under 1,000, you're not gonna be put in jail. Yes, you're gonna get persecuted if you get caught, but you're not gonna put in jail. So that thing I don't understand why we can't persecute people who steal under 1,000, over 1,000, doesn't matter. It's a crime.
Yeah, I mean, I had a situation. I had my iPod stolen from my car, and again, like it was like old iPod, right? Like I don't really care about it, but it's still like I remember I come to my car and I'm like, wait, something is missing, and I don't know if I didn't lock my car or if they broke in. Well, windows were fine, but the iPod was stolen. It was in Burbank, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna call police for that, I'm not gonna, but it's still like very unpleasant. And it's like that when it happens to you.
Yeah. In San Francisco, in the nice apartment building, in the parking lot, I come back in the morning and my car is open.
Okay.
And even like the cables, the vapes, like little things which you wouldn't, everything was stolen. Everything was open. And my girlfriend, she flew from Kazakhstan. She had a luggage and laptop and her passport, everything in the backpack. So they closed the car. They didn't know. They just drove to San Francisco, tourists.
Oh my God.
So they put it in the trunk.
I hear so many stories about San Francisco. It's insane.
Yes. And then everything was broken. Obviously, they broke in 2 hours. They left the car for 2 hours during the day in downtown San Francisco. Everything was stolen, obviously. Yeah. So, and then they threw away her passport because she lost her passport and she's in the States.
Yeah, it's bad.
And then we're like driving to Napa. She was like, whatever, what can I do? The worst thing is your laptop, your work is there.
Yeah.
So that was the worst part. But then she's like, yeah, passport will be fine. I go to embassy, whatever. Few hours later, somebody calls or something happened. Like somebody calls the embassy of Kazakhstan. Embassy calls her and they're like, I think somebody found your passport.
Oh, okay.
So somebody threw it away in some like construction zone, something. It was next to a trash can, and the guys from construction zone saw the passport.
Okay.
And they called the embassy, and then we went there like out of outskirts of San Francisco to pick it up. Okay. It was like the embassy told us that it's the very rare cases that you can actually find it. All I'm trying to say is that I get it. Economy went down after COVID. Yeah. Inflation numbers are crazy. The unemployment payments were also crazy because there were lots of fraud, billions of dollars lost by the government. Money was printed. All of that happened. And I get it. Now it's inflation, higher interest rates, and, people say unemployment. But at the same time, what I think is that, yes, of course, crime is going to raise. Of course. But at the same time, we got to implement the law where we can't just steal something under $1,000 and not and know that we're not going to go to jail. Yeah, you're going to be persecuted, all of that stuff. But then we're leaving mom and pop shops. We're leaving all those small businesses unprotected. Remember those crazy videos? People just walk into Gucci and stuff and they just take stuff and leave.
Yeah, that was crazy.
How is that even possible in a modern world.
I was back in Ukraine and I was watching when it's all was happening on the news, and I'm like, maybe I could have gotten a Gucci bag, like, you know, while it was happening. I was like, but no, it's bad, guys.
Yeah,
but I had that thought.
I get that, but the fact that living in California,
yes,
became so unsafe, and that
that's true. Okay, listen, even like I have this thoughts sometimes, like, is it safer to leave expensive stuff at home, or is it safer to have it with you?
Oh, I have this battle all the time.
Right? You're just like,
yeah.
I remember when I was traveling, and I had my green card with me, right? And it's like my baby, I have to keep it. And I was like, is it safer to leave it in a hotel in the safe, or is it safer to carry it with me? But what if I get robbed and they take it away? But what if the hotel gets robbed and they take it away? And I don't know. It's scary.
Same. Every single time I leave something at home or at the hotel, I'm thinking, oh my God, somebody's going to break in. But then somebody actually can rob me too.
Yes, exactly. So you don't even know what to do. Like, what is the safest way?
Yeah, exactly. And the fact, well, okay, when I came to LA first, like whatever, 7 years ago, I didn't face that. I don't think it was that widespread.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. There can be few reasons why crime levels in California, you know, became so high, the rates. First of all, it's economical reasons, right?
Okay.
Social economical reasons because of inflation, you know, higher interest rates.
Yes.
Maybe people don't have jobs, which I also saw the article that there are plenty of jobs. People just don't want to work after unemployment payments or whatsoever, because they were getting $4,000 a month during COVID. And I get it. I never judge people. I understand there are different situations.
Yeah.
In this case, I'm just trying to figure out reasons. Let's brainstorm, guys. Let's brainstorm why we're living where we're living now with these crime rates. Economical reasons, social reasons. What else it could be?
But it's also
defund the police might be.
It's not only here. I feel like it's everywhere, especially after COVID, and you know.
I think. Well, I'll be honest with you. When it comes to crime, in our countries, like let's say if you go to Dubai, different story.
Okay.
They would cut off your arm.
Okay.
Probably. I assume.
Okay.
If you create a fight, if you start a fight in Dubai and you're an expat, they will deport you. So the laws in some places are so strict that you just don't want to risk it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what interesting thing I want to mention? Again, it's not on a topic of LA, but back in Ukraine, well, we all know there's war right now, but interesting that while the war is happening, the crime levels went down.
Of course. Yeah.
Because people are so united and they have the same enemy that you don't want to hurt each other, you know, because you want to win that and then everything else is going to come. So the crime levels actually went down while the war is happening, which is, I don't know if it's good or bad. Again,
even though I know that Russian soldiers were taking like washing machines,
well,
stuff like that from the homes.
That's them. But I mean, in internally in the country, because again, we also had crimes, right? We also have robbers, like we also have, I don't know, homeless people. But right now, it's like nobody's stealing from each other.
Totally understand. When there is one ideology, the goal, the mutual enemy, you know, and people unite and people fight against it. So they don't have time to rob each other.
Yes, exactly.
In this case. But when it comes to US, as you said, there are so many millionaires in California and New York.
Yeah.
There are so many houses unattended. And it's very hard. I think why people go do crime is because they know they might not be punished for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because how are you going to find a person who like steals a watch with a mask on the gas station? How?
I mean, I'm pretty sure if it's expensive watch, you can track it down because
but there's also black market.
You know?
There's
but
also
still,
black
you can
market.
track it down.
Okay,
like let's be honest.
My phone. Let's go to smaller stuff. iPhones.
Okay, iPhones.
You would think, why would you steal an iPhone in America, right?
I mean, it's still like you can resell it for what $600-700.
Yeah, but it's locked. It's locked. It's locked with like your T-Mobile or Verizon, whatever. If you try to break it and put another number, it's not going to work. Unless there are hackers, which there are also a possibility.
Probably.
Yeah, but it also has like lots of problems. So I remember when my phone was stolen in 6 months twice from my purse on my shoulder.
Okay.
It wasn't even like laying down anywhere.
Okay.
On my shoulder. People literally opened it and just tap. All I felt was tap.
Okay.
I turned around. Second time, I knew what it was. I was just, going, looking into the crowd. It was in La Mesa, Hollywood.
Okay.
It's the lounge bar club.
All right.
I was literally holding hand of my girlfriend and we're going out of the bathroom.
Okay. And somebody just grabbed
Purse
it?
on my shoulder. We're walking. So it's a motion happening.
Okay.
Boom. Tap. Gone. And I knew right away. I literally turned back. It was just crowd. So
Okay.
professionals are working. And that night
Yeah.
I reported it to security and they were like, you know
Okay.
what? You're not the first one. Like people go,
Somebody's
people
doing
steal.
Yeah.
And then I remember people were even blackmailing me saying, yeah, I have your iPhone now. And if you are not going to remove your
You're
iPhone
just getting
from your
blackmail
all
left
the
and
time.
right.
Yes.
This is so good.
People think
I'm
that
so good, but
I'm telling you, people think that I'm probably a first lady of the United States or about to be, because that's what keeps happening. People are thinking that I have more interesting life and more money than I actually do.
which is good. Let
Which
them
is
think
good.
so.
Let them think so, yes. And he was like, if you don't remove your Find My iPhone on my stolen iPhone, the guys
Yeah.
who stole texting me, then we're gonna share all your like stuff, your pictures, emails with
Okay.
all your contacts. And then I called Verizon. I was like, this is happening. Verizon called the guy somehow. I don't know how. And then she was like, yeah, I told him, you do understand that it's a crime. You should give it back to the police. He was like, I'm not doing this. She got to remove it. And then she called me back. She's like, wow, like first time I'm hearing this kind of thing. And
Okay.
why this is happening is because the guy knows that nothing is going to happen to him. Nobody's going to persecute him. for that.
Okay.
Nobody. Because I'd rather lose my iPhone than go after the guy and risk my
Well,
life.
exactly, because iPhone is like, it is actually the perfect crime, probably, right? Because it's expensive enough for you to make some money on it, but it's not expensive enough to people to actually like, follow you and like find you wherever you are for
You'll be
this. Because like you'd be sad, but then you would be like, okay, well,
It's in America, though.
It's a good-
iPhone.
yeah.
It just became. Just let's take a minute to talk about iPhone and
all right,
Apple.
let's talk about iPhone.
Why am I doing this? It is connected to a crime because I'm the victim of it multiple times.
Okay.
And everybody's like, you were probably drunk, you were probably partying, that's why it was stolen. I was like, no, I didn't lose it. It was in fact stolen.
Listen, I feel like everybody had their iPhone stolen at least once.
Yes, I get it.
Yes.
So when it comes to iPhones, yes, in America, it seems like, oh, whatever, like I'm going to go and there's insurance policies,
Yeah, there's different stuff.
Yeah, you got to pay extra few $100 and then you're going to get a new one. When it comes to like other countries, other countries don't have a system of like locked iPhone to a certain carrier. They don't have insurance system.
Yeah.
They don't have anything. They buy it for cash, and if they lose it, they lose it.
Yeah.
But what's the interesting part is that in our countries or rest of the world countries, iPhone price costs the same as America, but people can't afford it because for them it can be 2-3 months of salary.
Well, yeah, it's a bigger thing. It's not that they can't afford it, because obviously they afford it, but it's a much bigger purchase. It's like it's an event.
It's a huge purchase.
Well, listen, I remember when I was like in high school, right, and I got my iPhone stolen. I got actually very excited because
You had an iPhone in high school?
Well, yeah, I think high school, like not in the middle school. Like people would like, I remember my classmate, they would like have iPhone 1. I remember that was like such a thing, and like I didn't have it. But then in the high school, yeah, I think I got my like one of the first iPhones, right? And at some point it got stolen in a public transport, and I was so excited because I was like, now my parents gonna buy me a new one. So I was actually happy that it was stolen.
Oh my God.
Because again, I'm in a high school. There's no important information on that thing, and then
So
But
when it comes to iPhone, I had to work for my first iPhone.
okay,
So I bought it. I think I already had the first job. And I bought it used.
okay,
So it was iPhone 5.
okay.
The OG one before 6 came out. It was like it was
Yeah.
this 5. And I bought it from one of the first salaries, and it was used twice. So 2 people before me owned it.
Okay.
And for me, it was just like a thing, like for everybody else now, why iPhone has the company itself grew so much, and their
Yes.
revenues, I was just checking the numbers, it was about 383 billion, something like that. And if you think about those numbers, it was one of the top, Apple, Microsoft, and now it's NVIDIA. But Apple is like second place now. And if you think their growth rates, it's insane.
Well, they're doing a great job.
But the way the whole Apple thing grew was under Tim Cook. Like, you know, it's great. It's a great business model whatsoever. What I'm trying to say in this case, it became a lifestyle more, because this thing is stronger, like as a computer, let's say, than faster than the equipment which used to probably send people to moon.
Yeah, in the
like
beginning,
50 years ago. How many years ago it happened, right? So in India recently, I saw the news and I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. A woman sells flowers next to a temple. A poor woman in India. There are lots of poor people. She sells flowers. She sells flowers. She makes money, and whatever she makes, she tries to save. Her son, 15 or 16-year-old boy, decides to do a boycott. He stopped eating for 3 days. Demanding for his mom to buy him iPhone. And the sales guy who sold him iPhone and heard the story, he actually recorded a video punishing this guy, like saying, you can't do this to your mother. But she was like, he wouldn't eat if I don't buy him this iPhone. And I'm talking about like...
Love it. Blackmail 101.
Yeah, blackmail 101. And you would think it's ridiculous. But
it is, but it's, again, I understand it's teenagers. And like
it's demanding teenagers, and they want... Once you have this thing, you have access to education, you have access to the news, you have access to anything. Like this little box gives you access to even make money, get paid, everything.
And we use it to take selfies.
Guys, because you know what's the main advertising point for iPhone 16, which just came out? I watched the reel in the morning. Better like you can control the camera with
with a new button or
with
something.
With a new sensor button outside, and I was like, this iPhone can do so much more than just take pictures.
No, but listen, I'm looking into buying a camera, right? And I'm looking into buying like a very expensive camera. And iPhone comes out and they're like, oh, we're shooting now like 4K 120 frames per second. And I'm like, I want to buy a camera that costs like $5,000, to do that and take great pictures. And then they come out with iPhone that basically does the same and costs like 4 times less. And I'm like, what is happening in this world?
Competition. I know. But coming back to crime, you told me also. Coming back to crime, but first let's finish about the iPhones, right? In our country, it's the same thing. Like all the teenagers want iPhone. It's just a thing. Your classmate have an iPhone. I'll be honest with you. When I was growing up, my first grade, I think all I wanted is like denim jeans or something like that. You know.
Super simple,
our dreams change.
Yes.
And nowadays it's just whatever. All I'm trying to say, guys, like just be grateful, because if for us in America, especially in California, let's not the rest of America, let's not count Midwest whatsoever. California, Miami, New York states. It's something like whatever. I'm gonna buy tomorrow a new one. Yeah, it sucks, but I'm gonna buy tomorrow a new one. For the rest of the world, it's months and months and months of work. And just the fact that we can appreciate it is great.
Yeah.
But also the fact that even here it's being stolen means that, it just means that we're going down the hill crime-wise. Because, okay, I get it to steal the Rolex, but steal iPhone in America is just like, what?
No, but like imagine people who are not making enough money, right? You can steal an iPhone and probably sell it for like $500. But for somebody, $500 is a big money. You can live like 2 months for this money. For somebody, but you steal 3 iPhones and you have a nice salary.
You're now encouraging people.
I'm sorry, but
giving them numbers.
That's true.
But coming back to crime, I'm just overall against. It doesn't matter how much you steal. Like, what's the amount? It's under $1,000, over $1,000, and I do think. And please, people who are watching us, our viewers, just tell me, am I right?
Question for you.
Yeah, should we persecute people who steal under 1,000 still? I think we should.
Okay.
Yeah, question. What's the question?
Question for you. Have you ever stolen anything? I'm just curious.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes. I was 5.
Okay.
So you can't think it's conscious.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was cookies.
Cookies from the store?
Cookies, yes.
Did you get caught?
No.
You didn't get caught?
I was too cute. You know the Shrek's cat from Shrek? I'm like, take off your head. I'm like,
Wow. No, I remember I'm not proud of that. I stole a bracelet from the store. I don't know. I just like really liked it for some. I was like 7 or something too, right? And there was like this bracelet made out of this like little beads. So it's not even expensive. Like it wasn't expensive or anything, but I just really liked it. And I was just laying there and I was like, what if I just take it? You know, and I took it and I got caught.
Oh,
and
no.
Yes. And the lady at the store was like, you know what? You keep it. And it will remind you not to do that. And I felt so bad. I remember she gave it to me and I was like walking out with this bracelet. And it's like, you know, that feeling of like, it was a very not nice feeling, right?
She was a wise woman.
She was. And then guess what? I threw away that bracelet because I didn't want it to remind me of my stealing and stuff. So I threw it away. But again, that was a good, you know, life lesson. Doesn't feel good to steal. So you guys, and get caught.
Thieves are always is one of the oldest professions as well.
It's not true.
Yeah, I mean, it's as long as, you know, I just feel bad that it's involving humans' lives. That, you know, people, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I believe that on somebody's pain and unhappiness, it's very hard to be prosper and live happily. When you're hurting someone and you know you're intentionally hurting someone, it's really, really hard. And I just hope that, I don't know, maybe government will do something about it, or like economical situation will go, I don't know, something.
Okay.
Where people would just stop hurting people. Like that's what makes
No, I
me
get it.
feel
This
bad.
is bad. But okay, what do you think about, like, let's say the Robin Hood scheme of stealing and giving it to somebody
the poor.
who needs it more, let's say, or just stealing from people who are like,
Who
you know,
also
rich
steal.
anyway.
Who also
also
steal.
steal. Yeah, well, how do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
Okay, in this case with Robin Hood, it seems like a fairy tale, right? To me.
Okay, yeah.
I get it, to steal
Yeah.
from the rich, give it to
Yeah.
the poor. It's just not a sustainable system.
Okay.
It's just not. Because you give the poor the fish instead of giving them the tools to catch the fish, first of all. Like, there are differences between investments, for example, in Africa, if you look at it. But just
never
let's
looked
go
at
larger, like
investments in Africa,
Robin
but
Hood,
okay.
let's go to,
Okay.
I don't know, it's just interesting.
Yeah.
So lots of times, like the Western countries were giving them investment opportunities by like just giving them money, or, you know, giving them vaccines, or giving them this and that. And at some point they were like, I get it, thank you guys, but we want the tools where we can grow our economy ourselves.
Okay.
Because otherwise we will never learn. So in this case, Chinese came in and they're like, okay, we're going to build the factories with you guys. Yeah, let's do this. And, you know, they have jobs, they're learning how to do it. I'm not saying, listen, every investment is good.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is that you got to understand, when you're helping a person, when you just give him a fish, he's just going to eat the fish. And then the next day he's hungry again. But if you teach him how to get this fish and
So
give
you're
him the
saying
tools.
we should teach all the poor people how to steal?
No, we should.
It's a joke. It's a bad joke.
All I'm trying to say
yeah.
is that for me, help should be also thoughtful. It's not just like, okay, I'm going to give you money today. For example, you're asking me, I'm asking you money. Marina, give me $1,000. You're going to give it to me.
Yeah, or I'll give you a job.
You tell me what to do, or you give me a job. You can still give me $1,000, but then you kind of like create an opportunity. Because listen, why America is richer than any other country, right? Not any other, there are richer countries, but why is it so good? Because America gives an opportunity. Immigrants come. It's not like America giving away money.
Yes.
But third world countries who dream to come here, they think you land in LAX, you step out and you think, $100, I'm going to pick it up. Oh, next, I'm picking it up next. And next, $100 are everywhere on the trees. Let's pick it up and send it to the family. That's how they think. That's how the families in my country think, like, oh, Nora, you're so rich because you're in America. You're probably just like getting everything from the trees. What they don't understand, it's still hard work. It's even harder work in America to make money than anywhere else, because you're so mentally just pressured and stressed. And 80% of America are living in stress because the vacations are only 2 weeks. Maternity leave is like 2 weeks a month or something like that. Everything is super tight. You don't have an insurance, you're a dead man.
Yeah.
You don't have car insurance, you're a dead man. Everything has to be bills.
Yeah.
You don't.
Exactly. You
live with
have
your
to
mom.
work all the
Yes.
time. You can't afford to not work.
Exactly. You can't afford
Yeah.
not to work. But then if you work hard, you get the money and then you're fine. Like you can, but what the rest of the countries don't understand, they think that it's growing on the trees. That's what I'm saying. America has the biggest opportunities. America truly does, to make money, to grow, to go crazy, to be a drug addict, whatever direction you take. America has it all. And in this case, as I said, it's up to you at the end of the day how you're going to use your time here.
Yeah.
But the fact that people do think outside of the US that US is just this magical place, you're just jumping from a pink cloud to another pink cloud, just catching money on the way and spending. And because that's what people portray. All our friends, if you think about it, I follow them and I know they work like some of them new immigrants work at a food delivery and like stuff like that.
Exactly.
But what they portray on Instagram is like, okay, I lose the BMW, or I lose like a Mercedes, and they just like, making videos and like we're on the beach, we're driving, we're just having a great life. But like, 6 people live in the 2-bedroom apartment. And this is social media who creates this whole idea.
Well, let's not go into the whole social media thing.
The crime also happens because of that. Because everybody wants everything now.
Well, that's normal.
I understand.
Yeah.
But what's the price to pay for it?
No, exactly. You have to pay for what you want, but it's okay to want things. But anyway, I think we went out of topic completely.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask you like one of the last questions about this minivans next to your house. I heard that, coming back to a crime, that you were afraid that you would be kidnapped.
Yeah, like twice. It happened to me twice in a like very short period of time. So the first time it was next to my house, which is like, I live in an incredibly safe area. And it was just so weird because I left the house and my car was parked like across the street. So I'm walking. And there's this white van coming.
Usually it's black.
But it was white. And it was weird because right away they like kind of see me. And there was like 2 men inside, but I didn't like really see them. I'll tell you why. And they quickly like park next to my car. Mm-hmm. And what they did, they opened up this like, things you use to put in your windows to protect from the sun if you park. So they open up and they cover their windows right away. So it was like super fast. I'm walking, they're like driving, and then park and then open this. And they just sit there. And I'm like walking like, what is happening? And I was like, should I go back? Should I run to my car? Like, what should I do? But I kept walking to my car because I'm like, okay, this is like, my house is right there. There are people inside. Like, I don't think anything's going to happen. But that was very creepy. And then I got in my car and the van leaves.
Oh, wow.
It's like, there was no reason for them to just stand there,
Interesting.
So that was like super creepy, but okay, nothing happened. And then I told my father-in-law about that, and he was like super concerned too, but like, And then second time it was in a mall, which was even more creepy. I even have pictures somewhere. I took a picture. Basically, I went to the mall and it was weekday. It was like morning weekday, right? So there's not so many people. I parked my car. I went to the mall, and I remember when I parked, there was just like, I don't know why I paid attention, but there was like a weird gentleman hanging out on the parking lot on a phone, and he was just like walking around the parking lot and like talking on the phone, but like kind of looking around. And I just paid attention to him because I thought it was weird, but whatever, right? A man talking on the phone, whatever. So I leave, I do shopping, I come back like 2 hours later. I walk to my car, and I see there's this huge black van.
Oh, this time it's black.
It was black this time, right next to my car. And they parked in a way that it was like a little bit like forward. I don't know if it makes sense, but like the door that opens like this was right next to my driver's seat door, right?
Okay.
And it started. So it's like the motor is running in this van. I can't see anything inside, and they don't have a license plate. Oh my God. And they're standing right next to my car. And guess what? Also, at that point of time, I had my key broken, like the battery died. So I had to manually open the car, right? So I had to get in there to open the car, and it would take me forever, right, to open it. And I'm like, again, I'm like super attentive to these things, right? I even like follow channels on Instagram with like all this creepy, like, crime schemes and stuff. So I'm like, I'm standing there across the street. I see this picture. I don't walk to my car. I'm just standing there, and I'm like, what do I do? It's like, I'm not going to go to my car. My first idea was I can get in the car from the passenger seat, but my key is broken, so I had to go, right? And I'm standing there. There's nobody like on a parking lot at that moment of time. And I stood there for like 5 minutes. I took a picture of it. I can show you later. Basically, this creepy van there started, and like you can see like nobody's like on a driving seat, right? But it started. And there was a guy walking by, and it was so like the guy was like, I don't know, he was like probably like a little nerdy, so it's not like this creepy guy or something, but it was the only guy who was walking, and he was walking with his laptop, and I was like, excuse me, sir. And I come to him and it's like, I'm so sorry to trouble you, but I'm scared of that van. And I'm pointing him like to the van, and I was like, could you please walk me to my car? And he's like, what? I think he thought like I was flirting with him at some point or something. And I'm like really scared. Can you walk and like, watch over me? And he's like, okay. He's like, well, if there's kidnappers, I can hit them with my laptop, or something. And, that was my best option at that point of time. So he walked me to the car and I got in and nothing happened, right? And I like quickly left. But that was creepy. That was very creepy.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it happened in a matter of a few days?
Yeah. No, not a few days, but probably a couple months. Yeah.
Interesting.
But that's very, I don't know. I think that thing happens a lot in LA.
Yeah, I told you in my first year in LA, I was almost kidnapped.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Starbucks.
Yeah. So you have to be very attentive. And it's better if you freak out and you just overdo things just to be safe than you're just like scared of troubling people or something. Just trouble people. Let them walk you. Like for example, I've heard of this scheme also, like if you're shopping and like an old lady comes to you and she asks you to like, oh, could you help me to carry this to my car? Mm-hmm. Like an old lady, right?
Yeah, that's an old scheme, by the way.
It is a scheme. It is like they get you and they kidnap you. So like never help old ladies if you're a girl. Or be like, you know what? Let me call a security guard for you. He'll help you, or something. Because like if you're a girl, never, don't be nice.
There was a woman in supermarket. She came up to me 2 weeks ago and she was like, she heard me speaking Russian. And she's like, I'm from Moscow, but she was super creepy because I was like, when did you come? Who are you with? She's like, I'm by myself, but she's super like older and she didn't know what the WhatsApp or Telegram is.
Okay.
And then she's like, I'm looking for an apartment. Could you help? And I was like, yeah, there are groups, and social media. She's like, I don't know what it is. She didn't even have like a Google account or like Apple account.
Well, that's normal for older people.
Yeah, but then what surprised me, like she barely speaks English. Mm-hmm. She came by herself. She has an apartment now. I don't know, like, what's the goal or whatsoever. I did help her, though. Like, I even gave my number sent through my WhatsApp, like, all of that stuff. After that, by the way, blackmailing came. So what I'm trying to do is, like, I'm always helpful. Like, I'm too nice sometimes. I just help people.
That's your problem.
Yes,
you get blackmailed. Don't be nice to people. In Los Angeles.
I just felt like, well, what could happen? Like, all she has is my, my WhatsApp number whatsoever. But she was also unprotective. Like, her phone was open. She told me her code and whatsoever. So I faced so many things like this. Mm-hmm. So many scams, blackmails, people try to kidnap you, people attacking you, people like following you, all of that stuff.
Exactly.
And after that, I just realized that, gosh, the world is a scary place to live. But at the same time, it's all your responsibility to be safe.
True.
It's truly yours. And yours as parents to teach your children, stranger danger, all that stuff. Not to be naive. Mm-hmm. And just to make sure that you know that nothing comes just like this for free or whatsoever. Like people get hooked on those things. So be careful, help people carefully, and receive help also carefully. That would be the conclusion of this podcast. And we just wish you guys to be safe and make sure that you check the stats of the crime, see like what's going on where, because it can happen to anyone. It happened to you at some point. It did happen to me, and all I want is you guys to be just cautious about that.
And safe. So don't wear Rolex. Don't be nice to people in Los Angeles. That's it. That was just fake it.
Was it a jealousy because you don't have Rolex or AP?
I don't have any. I have Apple Watch.
Apple Watch. That's the way to go, I guess. Anyway, thank you, Maryna, for sharing your crazy stories.
Sure. Thank you. Yes, for listening and your crazy stories. Yeah,
and we just promoted iPhone 16. Just FYI, Apple Tim Cook, we just FYI promoted a little bit iPhone 16.
If you want to sponsor our podcast,
we would gladly show how the new button works. Mm-hmm. Like just like this. It was Just Fake It coming to LA.
We're brought to you by Invoice Media.
Voice your passion, guys, and be safe. Maryna and Nora will see you next week.